Ridgefield is a growing community, which means that the Ridgefield School District is experiencing a large amount of growth as well. Anyone who has driven around the community can visibly see the growth happening, and those who have students in the district can see the needs in our schools as well. We would like to take a few minutes to look at the capital facility needs of the Ridgefield School District. This presentation will be divided into 3 sections: the past, where we will review the past several years and how we arrived where we are today; the present, where we will look at the needs of the district and current conditions in the community; and finally, we will look at the future and discuss possible options and recommendations for how we move our community forward. First, let's look at the past. As the population in Ridgefield continues to grow and enrollment in the Ridgefield schools continues to increase, more and more educational spaces are needed to alleviate overcrowding in classrooms, on playgrounds, and in the parking lots around the district. College, career, and technical education, also known as CCTE programs in Ridgefield, have gained popularity with students. These programs provide students the opportunity to gain skills that are directly applicable to the workforce. Currently, our CCTE classrooms don't have industry standard equipment, which limits the skills we can teach our students, which in turn limits their ability to move from high school into a living wage job in the trades. As many of you know, the district operates based on 4 district goals or principles that can be found in our Pursuing Premier document on the Ridgefield School District website. District Goal number 2 speaks to the need to provide our students with the best possible learning environment, including class size, lighting, ventilation, and facilities that can contribute to a conducive learning environment. Growth in Ridgefield is not a new issue. It has become somewhat of a constant in our community. In fact, in 2015, the district convened a Capital Facilities Advisory Committee, also known as the CFAC. This group was comprised of more than 30 Ridgefield citizens, parents, teachers, district leaders, and professionals with expertise related to long-term facility planning. The goal of the CFAC was to evaluate current conditions, enrollment projections, facility decision-making criteria, engage the community in the process, and recommend a preferred concept for future bond elections. The CFAC was separated into several subcommittees, including general education, special education, athletics and extracurricular, and school safety, along with security. Over the course of several months, the CFAC met with community members and presented the final Building Premier report to the school board on May 24, 2016. The Building Premier report is available on the same page of our website where you clicked on this presentation and provides a lot of background, including information on 2 fairly common questions. One of those surrounds the origins of the Ridgefield Outdoor Recreation Center, commonly referred to as the RORC. This was also a collaborative effort with the City of Ridgefield and was funded predominantly by the city, not the Ridgefield School District. Another question that we often get asked is about the Ridgefield Administrative and Civic Center, frequently referred to as the RAC, and formerly View Ridge Middle School. Through the collaborative community-driven CFAC process, it was determined that this site would be decommissioned as a school site. The CFAC determined that the old View Ridge building was not a good candidate for modernization due to inadequate site area, growing traffic congestion, traffic-related safety concerns, and the prohibitive cost to modernize the existing facility to meet the district needs for the next 30 years. Once decommissioned, the site could no longer be used for K-12 education. It could, however, house a preschool program that was desperately lacking in our community and provide permanent office and conference room spaces. Now the site is the home of the district's preschool program known as the Early Learning Center, and the RAC's gym and conference room serve as an important and valuable community resource. The RAC is also home to multiple offices for the City of Ridgefield. The conference rooms are used often for training and meetings by district staff, City of Ridgefield staff, as well as community members. Finally, the CFAC proposed a multi-phased bond approach and provided a roadmap and vision for the ultimate build-out of the district. We will discuss this plan in more depth later in this presentation. We will see several versions of this slide throughout this presentation. The buildings in orange are the existing buildings when the 2012 bond was passed. 2 elementary schools were K-6 schools. View Ridge was grades 7 through 8, and Ridgefield High School encompassed grades 9 through 12. The buildings in gray represent future additions to the district as proposed by the CFAC. Let's take a moment to look at student enrollment and what it has done over the past several years. The graph here looks at enrollment numbers going back to 2017, which is the last time Ridgefield passed a bond and added permanent classroom seats to the district. These numbers are coming from the OSPI report card, which has data through the 2022 to 2023 school year. Our current enrollment is 4,022 students, which is 1,199 more students than we had when the 2017 bond was passed. The district has taken action to respond to this enrollment growth. Enrollment at Union Ridge and South Ridge peaked in the 2017 to 2018 school year at 914 students for Union Ridge and 818 students for South Ridge. We believe this peak in enrollment is part of what helped propel the 2017 bond to passing. The 2017 bond built Sunset Ridge Intermediate and the new View Ridge Middle School. At the time, we reconfigured the grade bands of each school to help alleviate the elementary overcrowding. Union and South Ridge both became K-4 schools. 5-6 is now at Sunset Ridge, and 7-8 is at View Ridge. Grades 9 through 12 remained at Ridgefield High School. While this did reduce overcrowding, it was a brief respite as enrollment continued to grow. And because of where development has been happening and existing boundary lines between the elementary schools, the enrollment discrepancy between Union Ridge and South Ridge continued. To help with this, boundary lines were adjusted for the 2022 to 2023 school year, which evened out enrollment between the two schools. Even with that adjustment, enrollment continues to grow, and both Union Ridge and South Ridge, as K-4 buildings with design capacities of roughly 525 students, each have over 750 students this school year. This chart shows the history of bond elections run in the Ridgefield School District. Please note the successful bonds in 2012, which was Phase 1 of the CFAC plan, and in 2017, which completed Phase 2. Now that we have the background on how we got where we are today, let's take a look at what is currently happening within the Ridgefield School District. One of the first steps to determine the feasibility of running a bond is to look at the district's debt capacity. School districts in Washington state are limited on how much bond debt they can carry. As you can see from this slide, Ridgefield School District will have the capacity of a little over $262 million. It is impossible to talk about building schools or running bonds without talking about home values and tax rates. As you see here, home values in Ridgefield have been increasing annually for several years. The good news is that they seem to be leveling off and even saw a slight decrease last year. As a refresher, your individual tax bill is calculated by multiplying the tax rate by the assessed value. This means that if the assessed values are increasing faster than the tax rates are dropping, homeowners will see their tax bill increase. In this graph, we see the historic and projected school tax rates. The green portion of the graph accounts for the operating levy, and the blue portion represents existing bonds. The last bond was passed in 2017, and the tax impact was seen in 2018, as illustrated by the jump in tax rate. 2018 was also the year that tax impacts from the McCleary decision impacted school funding. As illustrated in this chart, the tax rate has decreased each year since 2018 as Ridgefield has grown. The City of Ridgefield has also been very strategic in planning and diversifying the tax base, working towards creating a balance between residential homeowners, industrial, and commercial tax bases. As we all know, Costco is anticipated to open in winter of 2024, and this is just a small portion of the larger commercial development happening near I-5. All of this development will help to ease the tax burden on homeowners by spreading it amongst new businesses that open in district boundaries. Our current tax rate in Ridgefield is $2.66 per $1,000 of assessed value. This is projected to drop to $2.53 in 2024. This means that the Ridgefield School District has the second lowest tax rate in Clark County. Again, acknowledging that because home values are up, tax bills have increased as well. Let's refer back to the CFAC long-term plan, which provides the roadmap for building out the Ridgefield School District. As you can see, there have been some changes. The passage of the 2012 bond built the new buildings at both Union Ridge and South Ridge. With that bond, we also made some additions at Ridgefield High School. The 2017 bond completed Phase 2, which built the Sunset Ridge Intermediate and View Ridge Middle School campus, and further additions at Ridgefield High School. As district enrollment has grown, without any new permanent classroom spaces added since the 2017 bond, we have responded to the classroom need by adding portable classrooms. Each campus has a number of portables that are illustrated here with gray boxes. Keep in mind that each portable has 2 classrooms, so while Union Ridge and South Ridge have 10 portables each, that equates to 20 classrooms. Even with the addition of portable classrooms, the district still faces overcrowding and has had to make difficult decisions to repurpose spaces for use as classrooms. Last school year, the wrestling room at Sunset View was converted to classrooms, which understandably upset many parents and other members of the wrestling community. This year, we were able to return the wrestling room to its intended purpose. However, that means discomfort is being felt elsewhere. The Black Box Theater at Sunset View Ridge has been converted to a classroom, and the Rourke Community Center is being used for health classes this year as well. At Ridgefield High School, the old boardroom is now being used as a classroom. That room is a large open area in the 300 building that is able to be separated from the busy, noisy hallway with a curtain. This is not an ideal environment for teaching and learning, and also reduces the amount of common areas where students are able to gather to host meetings or study. The current capital facility needs for the district include a new K-4 elementary school. At the high school, college and career and technical education and general education classrooms, roof repairs at Ridgefield High School, Union Ridge Elementary, and South Ridge Elementary at the old buildings only, rooftop mechanical replacements, a new intermediate and middle school serving grades 5 through 8, Ridgefield High School addition featuring a new wrestling room, new locker rooms, and a renovation of existing locker rooms, Ridgefield High School track and field resurface, playground and accessibility upgrades at Southridge Elementary and Union Ridge Elementary schools, and improving the band room at the high school to accommodate the program's tremendous growth. Full transparency, the district is really close to actually needing not just the 3rd elementary school, but the 4th one as well. If a 3rd elementary school opens in fall of 2025, it will have a projected enrollment of 500 to 525 students, meaning each elementary school would already be near the permanent structure's intended capacity. The total construction cost for all of these projects would be $210,700,000. The state does provide some matching funds, some, but not a lot. The district would qualify for approximately $11,700,000, which brings the total ask of the taxpayers to $199 million. So, where do we go from here? How do we, as a district and as a community, address all of these facility needs? In an effort to provide the community with more choice and flexibility during challenging economic times, Interim Superintendent Chris Griffith's recommendation is to run two propositions on the April ballot. Proposition number 1 would build the new elementary school, the high school CCTE building and general education classrooms, complete roof replacements at Ridgefield High School, Union Ridge Elementary School, and Southridge Elementary Schools, as well as repairs to mechanical rooftop units. Proposition number 1 would be for a total of $72 million, and all of the work could be completed by fall of 2025. Proposition number 2 would be for a total of $127 million and would complete the rest of the work on the list of immediate needs, including the new intermediate and middle school, a new wrestling room, and renovated locker rooms at Ridgefield High School, resurfacing of the track and replacement of the field at Ridgefield High School, acoustical upgrades to the band room at Ridgefield High School, and additional upgrades to inclusive playgrounds at Union Ridge and Southridge Elementary Schools. The projects in Proposition number 2 only pass if Proposition number 1 passes. Let me repeat that one more time, because this is somewhat of a novel way of approaching this challenge. This will be an if-then situation. Proposition number 2 only passes if Proposition number 1 passes. So in other words, if Proposition number 1 does not reach the required threshold of 60% plus 1 votes, it does not matter how many votes Proposition number 2 gets. Why do we think running two propositions is a good idea? We understand that the last few years have been difficult with pandemic impacts, rising rates of inflation, and rising interest rates. Each of the projects on our list is needed to keep pace with our current enrollment, and we want to provide the community with the opportunity to financially support the district at the tax rate that they can sustain. If both propositions don't pass, it is very likely that we would have another bond on the ballot the following year. The students are already here, and we need permanent classroom space in order to teach them. Coming back one more time to the CFAC long-range plan for the district, you can see that Proposition number 1, shown here in red, would add a third elementary school, CCTE Metal Lab, and general education classrooms at Ridgefield High School. Proposition number 2 will add additional upgrades to the high school as well as a new intermediate and middle school. This will almost complete the build-out of the district as proposed by the CFAC committee. Again, we cannot talk about bonds without talking about tax implications. As a reminder, the tax rate in Ridgefield is projected to drop to $2.53 next year. Passing Proposition number 1 will add an additional 60 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, bringing the tax rate to $3.13. Passing Proposition number 1 and number 2, because remember, we can't pass number 2 without first passing number 1, will add $1.45 per $1,000 of assessed value, bringing the projected tax rate to $3.98. Referring back to the comparison of tax rates in Clark County schools, you will remember that Ridgefield is currently the second lowest. Passing Proposition number 1 will increase the tax rate to $3.13, putting us right in the middle for Clark County. Passing both Propositions number 1 and number 2 will increase our tax rate to $3.98, which would put Ridgefield at the top for Clark County. Keep in mind, though, historically, as growth continues, both in residential and commercial areas, the tax rate has decreased. We wanted to take a look at tax rates and bond impacts over time, so we went back to the 2012 bond with this slide. The tax impact of that bond was first felt in 2013, as you can see on this graph, increasing the tax rate to $3.98, and then you can see the tax rate decrease over the next 4 years until the next bond was passed in 2017. That impact was felt in 2018, raising the tax rate to $4.34. This was also the year that the McCleary decision impact was felt in the tax rates. Over the next 5 years, we can see again the tax rate steadily decreasing, projected to be $2.53 next year. If both propositions pass, it would raise the tax rate back to the previously supported $3.98. In response to feedback received from the community, the district plans to form a bond oversight committee. This committee will be formed 2 to 3 months after the successful passage of a bond and will be made up of 5 to 7 community members. The Bond Oversight Committee will be supported by district staff such as the superintendent, business manager, construction manager, or school board members who will attend regular committee meetings in an advisory or resource capacity. The role of this committee will be to ensure that the district meets bond promises by reviewing decisions, budgets, construction project bids, and awards. The committee will also make recommendations to the district's board of directors on how to use any remaining funds once the bond projects are nearing completion. Ridgefield is an extraordinary place and a unique community. Families that have lived here for many years and new residents alike are able to see that. We hope that you found this informational video helpful as we continue to work together to serve the amazing students that attend school in the Ridgefield School District. Thank you for your time.